Greetings, everyone, from New York. Today is the 25th of April, and we are here focused on the new moon in Taurus. We are squarely in the building energies of Wesak, which is just a little over 2 weeks away. The new moon of Taurus is actually this Sunday at 3:31 p.m. So we've got 2 full days to really focus on it and get ourselves thinking in a forward way toward Wesak. For now, though, let's begin with the mantra of unification. The souls of all are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve, and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and life, and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. So, again, we stand at the gates of Taurus. Already the energies of transformation are building in very real ways, creating a rarefied atmosphere in the envelope of this planet. We are impressed from within and without to hold steady, to be clear in our vision, and stand as both transmitter and receiver. While we eagerly anticipate this influx of vitalizing light, the current conditions of planetary turmoil may distract us. Our thoughts may be influenced by feelings of doubt that we, the world servers, potentially the world saviors, can handle such an enormous task. The Tibetan has some things to say about this. Anticipating our uncertainty, he holds the path steady before us, reaching back, speaking words of common sense and encouragement. In Externalization of the Hierarchy, he states the following: the problem can be most simply stated. Either the spiritual hierarchy exists with all its potencies of love, wisdom, and skill in action, or for ages, humanity has suffered from hallucinations. Either Christ and his group of masters, initiates, and disciples are facts in the natural processes of evolution, or men have been victims during those ages of a gigantic fraud. At this higher point of the year, we each may do well to again fully commit to the truth of the hierarchy. For to start from a point of certainty is the only way we will stay the course. And if our current task seems daunting, consider that this is an age-old problem already faced and moved through by every mover and shaker who has ever committed to pushing the human race forward. It's just a matter of making a personal choice and sweeping past the chatter that may pull us down. There is an old Native American story which speaks exactly to this. It's called The Story of Two Wolves. In the story, a young boy goes to his grandfather and he's filled with anger at another boy who had done him what he considered to be a great injustice. The old grandfather says to his grandson, "Let me tell you a story. I too, at times, have felt a great anger for those who have harmed me but anger wears you down. Anger is like taking poison. Still, I will admit to you that I still struggle with these same feelings that you are having. And during those times when I struggle, it is as if there are two wolves inside me. One wolf is patient, steady as a slow river, and he does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him, and he does not take offense when no offense was intended. He will only fight when it is right to do so, and in the right way. But the other wolf, he jumps up and down, and the littlest thing will set him to howling. He tries to trick his friends into believing he is someone important. Sometimes it is hard to live with these two wolves inside me because both of them want to dominate my spirit. The boy looked into his grandfather's eyes and quietly asked, "Which wolf will win, grandfather?" Grandfather leaned in and said, "The wolf that I feed." There are surely all manner of wolves roaming around in the varied landscapes of our interior lives. But the Tibetan is asking us to identify and align with the wolves who know the better way forward. All this really comes down to a pragmatic need to choose what we focus on and choose what we think about. This is a huge request we are making of ourselves. As intelligent and compassionate people, we have been known to step into our very human robes from time to time, where we are bombarded by the presence of suffering, cruelty, and indifference to life. This darkness is real. These things are happening all within the circumference of our sight, and yet to fixate on them with our eyes and with our minds is to add more fuel to a fire already trying to rage. As hard as it is, we are asked to know that these things exist, but to hold our one point of focus steady in the light. Compassion, sheer determination, and common sense go hand in hand, must go hand in hand if we are to follow the Tibetan's path. Annie Besant adds her understanding to this concept by stating that just by virtue of owning a mind, we should be held ethically responsible for our thoughts. Every thought, she says, which you send into the world goes forth as a definite entity, a thing of life, a thing that takes to itself a form, and then that form lives in the mental world, acting with all the energy that you have given to it. Therefore, he who learns to control his thoughts becomes a benefactor of the race, for he adds to the sum of human virtue and wisdom. So with every thought, we add to the atmosphere around us. We are bringing something to the party in every hour that we are awake and moving in the world, whether we are, whether we are consciously aware of what that something is or not. Now multiply that by billions of minds, and we get billions of reinforcements of the predominant feeling or attitude toward any particular topic. Around us, everywhere, and all at once, there are tiny thoughts flinging themselves across space, creating the overarching energy of the place we are currently in. This is a fact. And this is, of course, why we are cautioned to use our minds well. The Tibetan speaks to this. He wrote in Externalization, "What I say concerns your mental attitudes and your emotional reactions to present world affairs. It concerns your capacity to stand as part of the great chain of intermediaries who are today being called to the service of the race in an hour of urgency. It concerns the organizing of yourself as an integrated personality. I call you to a period of clear thinking. So, a demand has been made. And amazingly, we have never been left alone to wonder how we will possibly do this. We have so many tools given to us from the hierarchy, which were designed to keep us thinking clearly. Consider each of the following. In a treatise on white magic, it's said that we can sound the sacred word, the Om, silently or audibly 3 times to clear mental confusion and emotional disturbance. It's said that the sounding of this word brings the 3 aspects of the human being into unified activity, resulting in a complete vitalizing of the lower nature by the soul. In Discipleship in the New Age, this is elaborated on, stating that the use of the sacred word, Om, acts as a vibratory force that sweeps away distractions and emotional turmoil. This is very important, especially in these emotionally charged times we're living in. In Rays and Initiations, he states that mentally directing the sound of Om to the Ajna center of the third eye helps bring clarity, focus, and realignment. This most basic of words, 2 letters, sounded by a human voice, has the power to reorder our landscapes, inner and outer. And then there are the mantras, more tools that we have been given to help hold us steady in the face of many wolves. We're told that using what is called the mantra of unification in a group setting will establish that group's unity at a soul level. Tonight, we started with this mantra for just that reason. The mantra we know as the affirmation of the disciple, beginning with I am a point of light within a greater light, establishes individual alignment with the group field. The mantra of the new group of world servers, which begins with may the power of the one life, which we use at 5 p.m. every day, moves us out into the greater territory of the new group of world servers, fusing us in shared commitment. And the grouping of words we know as the Great Invocation, perhaps the most potent of all the tools we have been given, is a world mantra, not for the individual, but for the body of humanity. It is used by the hierarchy, and DK says its sound can, if rightly used, reach Shambhala. Each of these groupings of words were explicitly prepared to either help clear us as individuals or connect us for the tasks ahead. It could be said that these words are magical formulas which realign and call the light down. And the Tibetan says as much in White Magic when he states that the use of mantras is of very ancient origin and is based on the knowledge that sound and specific words can produce specific vibrations in our energy body and in the environment. And if enough voices are active, those vibrations or frequencies can carry on into the planetary etheric body. So we stand now at the gates of Taurus, asked to hold steady in the light, to control our thoughts, to demand of ourselves that we think clearly in chaotic times. This will not come without exhaustion or doubt that we have the stamina to overcome the potency of current world situations, but we have help on the side. And we must remember that this exact problem has been faced by thousands, millions of world servers who came before us. The obvious evolution of the human race to the point where we now stand is proof that they succeeded. Now, it's our turn. If we truly believe that the spiritual hierarchy exists, we believe in the reality of the three higher spiritual festivals, that we can be impacted by those above while we impact those coming up along behind us, we will succeed. In 1919, the Tibetan wrote a letter which he addressed to all who serve. It was published in one of the earliest editions of The Messenger, which later became The Beacon. This is a small bit of that letter, and I will close with it tonight. To all who serve. More is realized by those of us who watch and guide than perhaps you who bear the burdens and heat of the physical plane existence know of. We know your physical disabilities. It is well nigh impossible for you, our struggling brothers, to have good health. We watch with tenderness you all, who with weak and sensitive bodies struggle, work, fight, fail, continue, and serve. Not 1 hour's service given in pain and tension, not 1 day's labor with nerves racked and head tired and heart sick is allowed to pass unnoticed. We know and care. The half victory, the days lived through with a certain measure of success, yet with an unachieved ideal, the minutes of exhaustion of soul and body, when the emptiness of all, even of service, seems the only noticeable thing, the weeks and months of endeavor against apparently insufferable odds, against the roaring tide of the world's ignorance, all is known. Take courage, therefore. It needs a strong serenity and an assured heart to stand unmoved in the thronging whirl of catastrophe, of disaster, of evil, of madness, of war, of crime, of ignorance, and in standing to keep the eyes fixed on the vision of the future and the hands stretched out to lift a brother from the mire. I know, for I have been where you are. I have been tired and strained. I have carried loads too heavy for flesh to bear. I have sensed the vision and been sick at heart at the clouding of the vision in the working out. I have wept over the blindness of the masses. I too have realized the world's sorrow and staggered in attempting to lift the burden. Take comfort in the knowledge that the servant but followeth in his Lord's steps. Take cheer in the assurance that love ruleth all. Take courage from the realization that the hierarchy stands. We'll now go into our meditation. Strengthening the hands of the new group of world servers. Group fusion. I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in me lift and aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. Alignment. We recognize our place as a group within the heart center of the group of world servers. Mentally extend a line of lighted energy towards the spiritual hierarchy, the planetary heart center, to the Christ, heart of love within the hierarchy, towards Shambhala, where the will of God is known. Higher interlude. Hold the mind focused for a few moments on the planetary role of the group of world servers, mediating between hierarchy and humanity, responding to hierarchical impression, and meditating the plan into existence. Meditation. We'll reflect on the seed thought. Through the impression and expression of certain great ideas, humanity must be brought to the understanding of the fundamental ideals which will govern the new age. This is the major task of the group of world servers. Precipitation. Visualize the precipitation of the will to good, essential love throughout the planet, from Shambhala, through the planetary heart, hierarchy, through the Christ, group of world servers, through all men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world, and finally through the hearts and minds of the whole human family. Flow into. Consider the many ways in which the power of the one life and the love of the one soul are working out in the world through members of the group of world servers, so building the thought form of solution to world problems. Distribution. As the great invocation is sounded, visualize the irradiation of human consciousness with light and love and power. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Thank you, everybody. We have a little bit of time left. If anybody has thoughts or questions, raise your hand or write in the chat box. And there really may be nothing to say, which is just fine.
There's a hand here, Catherine Cruz.
Hey, Catherine, are you there?
I am. I just thought this was just a wonderful talk and a wonderful meditation. And an idea or a thought or vision came to my mind of how many of us get up or meditate at the exact time of the full moon. And I thought about the power of people all around the world using the great invocation at that time, especially in the Taurus full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I, it's easy for us in the States, or at least here in the Central Time Zone, is an easy time. But anyway, I hope other people think that's a vital contribution to the power of the great invocation, a service we can give.
Yes, I love that you said that, Catherine. Yes, I think that's the hope of all of us here. We do have superpowers, we do, and it's these words. We just need to remind ourselves and remind each other to carry on. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Just to say, Jen, thanks so much for your presentation, for the meditation. I thought it was really wonderful. It brought up a lot of thoughts, actually. So I found it interesting because you said people may not have a lot to share, but actually I think there's quite a lot to discuss if we want to. But I thought what was fascinating was something you brought up about I forgot now exactly what you said, but basically about what it really means to stand within the new group of world servers and to serve in that way. One thing your talk reminded me about this group is that, which is obvious, of course, but sometimes the obvious things, when they're recalled to us, it has like a new light. But that it's both a subjective and an objective group. And so what does it mean for a service responsibility to span both of those dimensions? And not just to be two different responsibilities, but actually one united responsibility, and to function really in both dimensions, I guess you could say, at once. And yeah, obviously I thought your talk was great because it got right to the heart of thinking, clear thinking. And the Tibetan draws our attention to that.
Yeah.
And in fact, we look at the world situation today, how much distortion there is, how much chaos, which is basically distortion, how much crises there is, which generally tends to breed more distortion to the extent people are already astrally polarized. And what service a clear thought really is, in spite of all of that. And not just I know the whole issue of like facts nowadays, people are epistemological crisis and all of that. But what really a clear thought is from a truly spiritual point of view is really bringing in a measure of Buddhic clarity to the world situation, a clarity that's unifying, that's synthesizing, that resolves the pairs of opposites, that lights the way between them, that you know, it shows us what the way of love really is. You know, it's not always so obvious, especially in the face of very difficult problems and choices. So thank you. Yeah, it was a great presentation.
Yeah, clear thinking is something that no, we don't get to stop. There's no time period set for when we should be thinking clearly, and then we can turn it off. I mean, his comment about clear thinking was written, I think, in the 1940s, I think, got that right. So that was a long time ago, and we are still in need of clear thinking, which is really the point of so much that we do here. It's stand up straight and be the best you can and get control of your mind and your thoughts so that we can really become those human beings that we have the potential to be. The power of the mind is so immense, and I forget the exact quote, but the Tibetan says something about the mind is the greatest, is the most powerful tool we have. And I'm saying it very badly, but he obviously wants us to understand that to get control of this thing that's in our head, and to get it lined up with light and the soul is of greatest importance. And we do that by starting to gain control of our thoughts and our speech, which sounds kind of sophomoric, really, but it's hard. It can be really, really hard to do. I don't think there's anybody here who doesn't struggle with it. I know I do, but we've got a path laid out before us, and we've got tools to use, and there's help on the side. So.
We want to know what the quote you shared at the end, where it's from. It's an early issue of the Beacon.
It's an early issue of the Beacon. It's the
Yeah.
1919, and then it was reprinted in the 1922, I believe. So it's the version of the Beacon. And we will have that. Do we have that on our website now? I don't think
No.
it's coming up though. We will have it posted.
We can, if you want to write to us, we can send it to you. It's probably the best way to do it. If anybody wants
Oh,
a
that's what you're
copy,
saying.
if
Yeah.
anybody
yeah.
wants a copy of that, we'll send it to you. If you just write to us, I'll put the
Can
our
we
email.
digitalize it so people could get it?
It's
emailed?
digitalized now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
Thank you so much, Jen, bringing up these points for consideration. Moving towards WASAC. When we really have that legend that if we don't think it's a conspiracy, that there's a ceremony, there's a ceremony on the physical plane conducted by hierarchy, conducted by masters of the wisdom. And so in a sense, WASAC always draws so much consideration from the public. It's one of the most magnetic times of the year for this kind of work, because it does have that element where these great souls are real, and people are touched by that. And they come alive to, I think, consider something that normally does seem like a fantasy or a fraud. But when they're touched by the energy of WASAC, they have a sense that it's real. So it's an important time to share information about this event. And the Trust has a couple videos if you're on social media and you want to post about it. We're having a conference on the physical plane here in New York, which we invite everyone to attend, and I just think it's a real opportunity each year to bring forward that idea and that the Christ is real. It's not just someone from the past, you know, he's someone who's never left our planet and he's here to serve. And the Buddha is here to work with his brother and to serve the plan. And they love humanity. Despite all our flaws, like the Tibetan was saying, he knows those flaws because he was part of that. He is part of humanity. And the Christ is part of humanity. They're not distant and aloof from all of the struggles because they've been through them themselves. That's such a powerful thing. You know, we tend to think of God or Christ as something so beyond human potentiality. But no, they're human. They still are human. They're God man. Christ is a God man. He's not just a God. And we don't emphasize that enough. Thanks again.
Just gonna add to that, I'm gonna put on in the chat some videos that the trust has published for WASAC. If people want to listen to those or just share them, there's two of them. One's a longer one, which is more thorough explanation, and one's a very short, sort of succinct description of the day. And those are great. You can share them on social media or email them to friends. So I'll put those in the chat if people are interested in them.
And they seem particularly evocative now, but also the closer you get to WASAC, people come alive and they just get into it.
This energy has already begun.
Yeah.
I think we're all aware of that, and it's moving in the envelope of the planet, and it's moving within us. And then the next 2 weeks, it's just going to get stronger. And then after, it continues. It doesn't just cut off. There's no cutoff. It's very, very strong after the actual day of Waisak. So we have many weeks, many weeks into months ahead of us of very strong, influential energy that we're sitting in the front tide of right now. So anything we can do to take advantage of that, any of these mantras, any of these tools we've been given, you should do that.
There's a hand raised as well. Marie Christina Donington.
Hey, Maria Christine.
Hello.
Hello.
Dear, yes. Hello, dear workers, co-workers, fellows, companions of heart. The potency of our thoughts, which, you know, are not all that easy to round up, as we learn in Aries. The bears kill after us because, you know, the mares of thought are unbridled at times. And I have often used one tool that I'm using lately that I bring to mind, and thank you for all that has been mentioned and said. But I would just add to that the fourth ray formula that we are given. You know, it starts with maybe be led from darkness to light, from the unknown to the real, from death to immortality. But the fourth ray formula, which we are told in 2025 the fourth ray will make itself increasingly felt, are the words, may we be led from chaos to beauty, which seems so applicable to the time. And he adds that it concerns the circulation of energy and the mode of the creative process. But I find myself turning to those words in the middle of many things. And even as when looking at news or something, he suggests, he actually gives a symbol of this formula called the sun upon the square, which he describes as a square or oblong composed of a kaleidoscope mass of inchoate colors, moving, pulsating, and in constant, indescribable confusion. Superimposed upon this square is a radiant sun with a penumbra composed of 7 prismatic colors radiating from the sun in regular rhythmic bands, producing a marvelous blaze of color. So sometimes, even as I listen, not only hold thoughts, but I'm in a more of a receptive mode to our chaotic world. May we be led from chaos to beauty, and try to view it through the lens of a penumbra of 7 colors emanating from a central point of sun, the sun's presence. And I find that also very helpful. So I will just throw that into the mix of possibilities. May we be led from chaos to beauty.
Thanks for sharing that, Maria Christina. I mean, we know that thoughts are things, so you're putting that out there, you're creating a beautiful thing.
Wow. I think that's all. Gratitude.
Well, it looks like it's just about 7 here in New York, so we will leave you with these lovely thoughts and images, and thank you all for joining us and for all the goodness that you put out into the air around you all the time. We are counting on each other for that. So here we go. Wesak, just a little over 2 weeks away. Hold steady, everyone. Till next time.